Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer, episode 172 of our Isle of Man series. Happy Tuesday, wherever in the world you happen to be watching. Now, we are still having some technical issues. The gain is way up on the audio. Hopefully it comes through clearly in the episode. If it doesn't, let me know down in the comment section below. We are going to continue trying to work through these technical issues over the course of the next week or so. So the headphones are on. I'm listening to the audio. Hopefully it all comes through loud and clear for you guys as well. Now, if you haven't gone and watched yesterday's episode, go and check that one out because it's the start of the new season. Introduced you to our new signings, our tactical structures, our plans for the season, our targets for not just this season but the next couple of years as well. A lot of really exciting stuff, as well as 2 cup finals to start off the season, the Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup. And our journey continues today with a couple of games in the Premier League and also our Champions League group stage draw. Let's jump straight in and see how we've gone. So, as you guys can see, just up above my head here, 3 games played, 3 wins, plus 4 goal difference and 9 points. We currently sit in 3rd position. Both City and United, the Manchester teams, also winning their opening 3. But still very early in the season, still wide open in terms of the race itself. We're not panicking about our position. The start's been good. We've beaten the sides that have been put in front of us. Hopefully, we'll continue our good start to the season over these few games as well. So we've beaten West Ham in the league, we've beaten Leicester, and we've beaten Everton, of course, in yesterday's episode, winning the Community Shield against Chelsea. But then a 5-4 defeat after extra time in the UEFA Super Cup. We will carry on. We're going to play this game against Arsenal in today's episode. But first, before we get stuck into that, we've actually got the group stage draw for the Champions League, which of course we want to try and defend our Champions League title, just like our Premier Division title. The hope is that we're now in the top bucket, the first seeds as champions of England. I'm not sure what that asterisk is. Does it tell us what that asterisk is? Previous winner of competition. That's cool. Up to 90 on the coefficient, level with the likes of Marseille, above Porto, Schalke, a good few teams in that first bucket. Inter and Real Madrid, they're the ones ahead of us at the moment, but they've got like 5 years of Champions League qualification, which is to be expected. We're going to set this to automatic draw. We're going to check out what box we fit into. Of course, as the top seeds, we will go in first into the top of our group, which is handy. But there are still some huge sides in those second seed pots and the third seed pots as well. It is very, very open for the rest of the group. So we're going to be top of Group F. We missed Real Madrid, our last year's defeated opponents in the final. We missed Inter, who we lost to, of course, in the Super Cup. Manchester United, Juventus, they've already gone into Group A and B. Barcelona, thankfully, we've skipped them. We're going to get one of City, Roma, Atletico, or Chelsea. Of course, it's Atletico, because I don't think we can get City or Chelsea in the group stages. But they'll likely be our biggest opponent. Moving to Pot 3 now, some big clubs in there. Dortmund's in there, Bayern Munich's in there. Would not surprise me if we see one of them drop into our group. We've missed Dortmund, and Bayern have gone into Group E. So we've pulled out Monaco, the French, I think, runners-up from last season. We'll go and check that really quickly. And into Group 4 now, some smaller teams, nothing huge, nothing massive. Likely the people coming in as the 4th seed are probably going to be the minnows of the group. It has been Sporting Lisbon, though, who aren't a terrible side by any stretch. We'll have a look at each of these teams now and see how they finished up last season. Atletico Madrid, 3rd in the Spanish division last year. If we go and have a look at past winners, or maybe last season's table is a better way to look at it. So they finished 3rd, qualified for the Champions League, 77 points, a good 16 points behind eventual winners Real Madrid. Looking now at Monaco, they finished in 3rd position as well. Marseille actually won the division last year, which is crazy. PSG in 2nd, Monaco in 3rd, 7 points back from the eventual champions. But decent goal difference, they must score quite a bit. And actually lost fewer games than the eventual champions. The fewest defeats in the league last season for the Principality side. And then last in the group, Sporting Lisbon, currently 5th in the Portuguese league. Where did they finish last season? 2nd, runners up behind Porto, behind them by 5 points. But again, only 2 defeats last season, 1 to Benfica and 1 to Porto. So a very good side by the looks of things. Plus 62 goal difference is very impressive as well. And the 18 goals conceded over the course of a year, absolutely crazy. So none of the sides that we can really take lightly. Not really a group of death jumping out at me either. United and Real Madrid in Group A, you'd expect to go through. Zebra or Juventus and Valencia in Group B, you'd expect to get out of it. Inter and Barcelona in Group C. Group D, PSG and Dortmund should get through. Maybe you'd say Group E, but that's really only because Bayern Munich are currently sitting in amongst the 3rd seeds. So maybe like one of Roma or Bayern, maybe Porto can sneak in there as well. A bit more open in that one. City and Schalke should get through their group, and Chelsea and Marseille should get through that last group as well. So what does that do to our fixtures? We'll jump forward just one moment to have a look at what that actually means. Does mean our first game in the Champions League group stage is going to be against Atletico Madrid away from home. So we're going to play this game against Arsenal in a couple of days. We will jump forward to that one in a moment. I'm going to play the Bournemouth game off screen. They're down in 18th spot. We should be getting a comfortable victory there. And then we're going to play away at the Metropolitano de Madrid. Atletico Madrid, arguably our biggest rivals in the group stages. Magic of editing though. Let's jump forward to the lineups against Arsenal now. So, jumping forward, this is the lineup that we're going to take into the game against Arsenal. I've gone with the attacking style just because we've won our first 3 games of the season in that style. I was kind of contemplating maybe, because we have had a hectic start to the season with a couple of cup competitions, a couple of league games as well, maybe going to positive and dropping our intensity just a little bit for an away trip. We might see how it goes. If we start the opening 15-20 minutes not doing so well, we might drop to positive, and then we have the ability to change to attacking late on if we need to chase a goal. But we're going Mancini in goal, Abdesamad and Esteban as the defensive partnership, Carlos Andre and Lucas Gabriel as the fullbacks, Santana and Henry in midfield, Harold on the left wing, Castro on the right, Schaefer and Rivera leading the lines up top. They've started the season pretty well. Schaefer hasn't quite hit the ground running the way that I wanted him to. 1 goal and 1 assist across his 5 appearances. Maybe, if he doesn't have the best game today, maybe we give Martinez a start in the next fixture against Bournemouth or something to that effect to see how he performs. Looking over at Arsenal squad, it is Alex Neil's Arsenal squad, who of course I think is at Preston at the start of the game, and then he was at Birmingham for a bit, then he was at Leeds, and he actually won the Premier Division with Leeds what would be 4 seasons ago now. Long-time viewers will of course remember that one. But he plays a very simple 4-2-3-1 shape and formation. It's not anything super complicated. Of course, every club, every big club, it feels like in Football Manager in this year, seems to be playing a 4-2-3-1, which is crazy. But they've got some very good players. Richard McRae is one of the players that consistently scores against us. He's got a very good record against us. 129 England caps and 80 goals during that period. 33 years of age now, but not slowing down. 4-star current and potential ability. Very impressive stuff from him. And 96 goals in 252 games for the Arsenal. He does force Walshick out to the right-hand side, it looks like. He can play that role, but I think he'd prefer to be playing as a forward, leading the line up top. 21-year-old Brazilian. I think they paid out his release clause to get him, $22.5 million. He was a decent player. We kept an eye on him for a little bit, but the reality is I think Bruno Castro's a little bit further along, and they're both similar ages as well. So he's 4-star, current ability, 5-star potential. You'd expect him to hit that 5-star potential playing for Arsenal each and every week. In the middle, they got Jorgeau, who's another good Brazilian wonder kid that they previously had. I think they paid his release clause as well, 3.5-star current and potential ability. We were looking at him as maybe a central defensive option, but in the end, I think we just didn't really want to pay his release clause of $19.25 million when we had Abdesamad, when we had Esteban. Maybe if Esteban had to go on, he would have been a player that we looked at. We'll let that one go. He plays alongside Lazaro at the base of midfield, their captain, 26-year-old Argentine. No full caps to his name, but 3.5-star current ability and potential. He looks a solid prospect. Weird that he's captain after only 35 appearances for the club over 2 seasons, but that's fine. That's no real drama or concern. Actually, he's not the captain. He's their highest average rated player for the season. Their captain, I misspoke, is Mateo Martinez, 31-year-old Colombian defender. 128 caps to his name. He's been at Arsenal for a good few seasons now, coming up on 14 years. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential, 31 years of age. He looks to be a very decent prospect. And that makes more sense as a captain. Calmly, we're just going to say, I want you to pick up where you left off last time out, and everyone's responded positively, which is great to see. We were 1-1 with Everton in the last game for quite a while. We put our foot down really after the hour mark and started to torch them a little bit. It was 3-1 in the end, but it could have been 5 or 6-1 had we taken all the chances that we created in the second half. Of course, Arsenal away presents a different prospect for us. And first highlight of the game is a throw-in here from Carlos Andre. Finds Arnaud Henry in the middle. Arnaud Henry, one of the many players that signed a new contract, which will keep him at the club for a good few seasons. Backstick ball towards Harold there from Rivera. It wasn't far away. Keeper was scrambling, but just over the crossbar. You can see United have taken an early lead against Bournemouth in 7 minutes. That would put them top, 4 straight wins to start the season. City playing away at Moneybags Brighton, who have been bidding on every player this season. Just as I pick up there, demand more, we're going to hit with 10 minutes remaining in the half. And everyone seems focused, which is good, but statistically speaking and highlight-wise, we haven't really seen much from ourselves. So I think we might go with that tactical tweak that we spoke about at halftime. 7 shots, 1 on target, 52% possession, 9 shots, 4 on target, 48%. We haven't seen much from Arsenal. We haven't created all that much ourselves. Assertively, we're going to say we can still win this, keep working hard, it'll come. Hasn't quite worked, so I'm just going to tell everyone that they have the ability to make a difference. And then we're also going to switch, and we're going to go to our positive structure. It's a little bit deeper a line and line of engagement. It's a little bit less intense in the press. Hopefully, dropping off just a little bit will invite Arsenal onto us a little bit and give ourselves some space in behind for the likes of this front four to try and exploit. We'll see how we go though. As always, we'll give it 15 minutes before we have a look at subs, changes, all that sort of great stuff. And we do have fantastic depth across the squad this season, so it really is handy having quality players to bring onto a game if we are chasing a goal. Switch out here from Volchik, header away by Lucas Gabriel, but Georgia's going to tidy up at the base of midfield for Arsenal. Ball across there for Linares. It's poor defending from Abdesamar, but a great save from Mancini bails him out before we scramble it away. And just then we've hit the 60-minute mark, so we're going to hit pause. And we're going to sort by rating here. So Schaefer's not had the greatest game. We did talk about that. We might give Martinez a bit of a spell. I'm going to leave Rivera out there. Harold's not played particularly well. Castro's not played particularly well. We might give Frank Richard a bit of a chance on that right-hand side. Mateo has had a knock, but we'll give a little bit more time to Harold to try and turn it around. We're also going to use Passionately. You have the ability to make a difference, and they both seem to have responded fantastically well. And then we're also going to use Get Creative. Old Faithful, Get Creative shout after an out usually does the trick. Everyone seems inspired, but Arsenal immediately have a corner. Headed away by Harold. Rivera to Richard. Long one forward towards Martinez. First real involvement from the two subs there. It's just a clearance and a long ball forward, but Martinez does well. Gets it back stick towards Richard. He lets it run. He's got support here in Lucas Gabriel if he can find him, but he seems to be holding on to possession. Now to Santana. Henri. Now out wide to Lucas Gabriel. Good ball for Rivera. Wide the right area, and it's a poor angle. He didn't have much to work with. Maybe could have looked for the cutback, but he does force a corner, which is good. Harold to take now. A couple of bodies in the box. He goes short with Richard. And then it gets brought back for offside. That frustrates the absolute shit out of me, that offside. I don't know why it happens as frequently as it does. We've got an injury here. Lucas Gabriel's picked up a knock on 74 minutes. Thankfully, we do have another sub up our sleeve. Furkan Yilmaz can come on. Hopefully, that's nothing too bad for the Brazilian. I did speak about it in yesterday's episode. We do have to kind of keep an eye on all these players that had big World Cup campaigns and a lot of football during the off-season. We're also going to use a demand washout with 10 minutes remaining. Wide free kick here for Volchik. Into Telga. Ball in, Mancini does very well. If we get this forward, we're 1v1 up front. If we go to the right-hand side, we've also got Frank Richard goal side as well. Can he get a decent ball forward? There's two defenders coming across to him now. Just needs to slow up, wait for support. Plays it across to Arnaud Henri. Loses out to Lazaro though. His long clearance is poor. Abdesamar should recover. Lovely little reverse pass there. Finds Harold, who looks for Rivera. Gets it on his left foot. It's pinballing around, and then Rasmussen just scrambles it away for Arsenal. Can we use one more Get Creative shout? We can't at the moment, but Harold to take the resulting corner. Just get it in the box. Don't worry about the short one. Looks towards back stick. We had Esteban and Abdesamad in and around the area. Cleared to Rivera. Now Santana. Henri out to Richard again. Can beat a man in a 1v1. Can he get a good ball in the box though? It's pretty overhit. Martinez will get there first. Can we get it back in? Ball in. It was poor. Linares gets it away for Arsenal. We're into injury time. 3 minutes to be added on. Or 4 minutes, sorry. And we're flying through that time. We've used to Get Creative shout, but the referee calls full time. 17 shots, 8 on target, 52% possession for Arsenal. 14 shots, 7 on target, 48% of the ball for the Isle of Man. I feel like we had more highlights, but you never really know in these games. Calmly, we're going to say you're unlucky, and I just want to keep morale up as much as possible in the early part of the season. We're not going to get too down on anyone for a 0-0 draw away at the Emirates. Does see us drop down into 4th spot, but nothing to worry about there. City also drawing, Tottenham drawing, United maintain their lead at the top of the division, 4 straight wins to start the season. Lucas Gabriel, thankfully, just a bruised knee. We probably won't risk him against Bournemouth, but he should be back in time for the match against Atletico Madrid to start our Champions League campaign. And the Bournemouth match is actually 14 days away, so we've got a little bit of time. We might actually, because of that, just clear out the squad, and we might just give everybody a couple of days off, maybe 3 days off from training. Again, most of the squad at this point have played in the most recent World Cup campaign, or with their under-21 teams, or with whatever other international call-up they've had. So I don't really want anyone to burn out before we even start getting into, these busy periods in September, October, November, December. We really want to try and manage the overall fitness of the squad as much as possible. Magic of editing, though. We're going to jump forward to the game against Atletico Madrid now. All right, and just like that, we're a couple of weeks ahead. Now, we did have a very good performance, a 2-0 victory against Bournemouth. They made us work for it. It wasn't that easy, but we scored in 53 minutes. Paul Harold with a great goal. And Ruben Martinez, after starting the match, an excellent goal in 75 minutes. We're probably going to give him a start in today's game. The reason that we've come back a little bit early is because I didn't realise until we got the little spiel before the game started about transfer spend that Atletico Madrid have gone absolutely ham this transfer window. They have spent £240 million, which is ridiculous. That sounds like me the first couple of seasons we were in the Premier Division doing all those low initial fee, high interest 3-year repayment type deals. But they have splashed £190 million on a familiar face, Alisson Vicente, who previously played at Tottenham, was absolutely fantastic for them over the last few seasons. Hasn't scored yet in his Atletico Madrid career, which doesn't bode well for today's episode. I'm sure he'll probably break that duck against us. They bought Roger from £28 million from PSG. Interesting right midfielder slash right back, 32 years of age for the Spaniard. A lot of money to pay for a 32-year-old, to be completely honest. And then Petro Otrok, 24-year-old Ukrainian international, which doesn't look too good. 3-star current and potential ability, but they have spent some absolute cash, most of it, on one superstar signing. So that makes them the highest transfer spenders in the world in 2038, which is just ridiculous. It will be interesting to see how they actually play. You can see they've got some big wages in here as well, like 350, 325, 325, 350 again, 300,000 for a bench player, 245,000 for a backup midfielder. Like they are fairly rich, it must be said. Looking closer to home in our lineup, we're having to drop Paul Harold, which means Zuzko Mateo will come in from the game that played against Arsenal. Martinez also starts ahead of Uli Schaefer, who drops down to the bench. Hasn't been bad, but 6.58 over his last 5 games. We need more. We need better from him. And he was fantastic in a sub role last season. Maybe that just suits him a little bit better. Martinez pretty much like for like in terms of quality and position and all that sort of stuff. It's a full Mexican front line, so maybe they will play a little bit better today. We are going to stay on attacking, even though we are away from home. We might make the adjustment to positive if things aren't going our way, similar to what we did against Arsenal. Looking at the Madrid side, they're playing a 4-2-3-1 because, of course, every side plays a 4-2-3-1. We spoke about some of the players that they've brought in. Roger, Alisson Vicente, and the other one, Otrak, only makes the bench. Nizovic, Bosnian midfielder, 27 years of age. I remember him from back in the day when I think he was at Auxerre, or maybe when he was at Newcastle, as a wonder kid coming through. Only spent one season in England, £38.5 million brought in from Auxerre to Newcastle, and then they made a profit the season later, £46 million to Atletico, where he's been ever since, and he's had a pretty decent run, consistently over sevens, a good season in 2034-35, dropped off a little bit last year, but they've given him the captain's armband, and in 4 appearances, 7.28 as an average rating, very impressive stuff. Plays alongside Egno, who I think was their highest wage player, and he looks quite decent as well. Italian international, deep-lying playmaker, good technical attributes, okay mental attributes, decent physical attributes as well for the level. 3.5-star current and potential ability at 27 years of age. So they've got some players. They've got some good players. Vicente up top is going to be a very interesting one because he is an excellent finisher. Assertively, we're going to say we're huge underdogs, no pressure on us, and then we're also going to assertively tell the defence that we've got faith in them. If we get a clean sheet away from home, we're going to be in great shape. And even if we don't, it's still early in the league or early in the group stages. We don't have to panic too much. We're just going to kind of go out, see how we do against this Atletico side and kind of get feelers and a gauge of how we're going to travel this season. Of course, we do have a Champions League title to defend. We do want to try and do that where we can, but we're not going to panic too early in the competition. It's Roger, the summer signing from PSG, and it's a drive from distance, but it was well beyond the far post. Nothing too interesting about that initial drive. But we have made it outside 10 minutes without conceding any goals. We have got a free kick here. Castro from deep towards back stick. It's headed away. Esteban will get the chance to mop up here. And he looks to put a ball back into Martinez. Knocks it down to Decimab when maybe he could have turned. And instead, it's Zuzko Mateo, who is playing against his previous club, interestingly enough. He was briefly at Atletico as a junior and then went to Bilbao, where we picked him up from. Esteban does quite well here. Puts a good ball into Martinez, actually, who maybe could have done a bit more of it. Instead, he knocks it back to Abdesamad, winds up a strike. It's shut down by the defence. And then Mateo, just a snapshot from a half chance, does very well to sneak that one in at near post. And first highlight we've seen from ourselves in the game, and we have something to work with and a lead to defend as the match continues. Through 30 minutes now, nothing further of note, no other highlights, but they do have a free kick here. Nizovic from distance. Mancini gets it away. Lambert's the first one to the follow-up, and it's actually brought back for an offside call. We're going to just use... Yeah, it didn't cross the line because it never crosses the line. We're going to use a demand more shout. Got yellow cards for Decimard and Gabriel that we're going to have to keep an eye on in the second half. Throw in here for that man, Gabriel. Henri with a lovely touch around the midfielder as well. Cut back to Lucas Gabriel. Looks towards back stick, and Mateo's got a double. He wasn't expected to play with Paul Harold out of the side, and Harold, to be fair, has had a very good start to the season. But again, a wonderful backstick ball, and Mateo makes a good run to get away from the defender. Just peels off the shoulder a little bit, and it's a good header back across the keeper. We see the ball in here from Gabriel. Good whip to it. Mateo back across the keeper. Can't get down to it in time, and he makes it 2 goals from 2 highlights that we've had from our team in this match. A fantastic start to the Champions League season. 2 minutes of additional time to be added on at the end of the first half, which we're through now. And at half-time, 11 shots, 5 on target, 52% of the ball for Atletico Madrid. Just the one highlight, though, that strike from distance early on. 4 shots, 3 on target, 48% for the Isle of Man. I am going to tell everyone Very pleased with the performance. Let's keep it going. And then we are going to go to our positive structure, which again, a little bit deeper, a little bit less intense in the press. Dropped off a little bit, hopefully give us some space in behind. You would think Atletico Madrid are going to come flying out in the second half and really push to try and find some goals in this home fixture. In the other match, as things currently stand, it is 0-0 between Monaco and Lisbon at the Principality. Lucas Gabriel does well here and he can carry it forward. He's got an acre of space in front of him. Can he get a defender to commit? Roger was back there and it was a good tackle, to be fair, from the Spanish fullback. And we're through the hour mark now, so we're going to have a look at some subs really quickly. We'll sort these by player ratings first. Rivera's not had the greatest game. We might give Schaefer a bit of a chance off the bench as they advance forward. And then Carlos Andre, he's only on a 6.7 and 78% condition and a yellow card, but I think the one I'm a bit more wary of is Lucas Gabriel, just because of his propensity to pick up kind of foolish yellows at various points. We'll bring on Furka and Yilmaz at right back. And assertively, we're going to say we've got faith in the both of them. We're going to hit play. We're going to use a get creative shout. Old Faithful usually does the trick. If Decimard looks pressured by that feedback and he's on a yellow, he might be the next sub that we make. Yilmaz into Henri here, wide right area. Good ball towards Martinez. It's a phenomenal cross and a wonderful finish from Ruben Martinez. His third goal of the season. If you remember to last year, he set the league and his form in the early 20 games of the season was absolutely phenomenal. And in his second real start for the season, he's again chipped in with a goal. Maybe we need to be giving him more opportunities. It's a great ball from Henri. A lovely run off the shoulder there from Martinez. And he's a big, big boy. You can see him there in comparison with the other players. He's a tall, tall lad. And 3 goals to the good against an Atletico Madrid side that has spent that amount of money during the off-season is a fantastic performance, particularly away from home. Carlos Andre with the ball now, forward to Santana, who previously won the Young Player of the Month award in the Premier Division. Good header back there from the Atletico defence to their keeper, Bruno. Plays it forward to Fuentes in midfield and goes long forward towards Alisson Vicente. First we've seen from him goal side, and it's the first highlight we've seen. And I said beforehand, he hasn't scored yet for Atletico Madrid. And of course, he peels off the shoulder here. It's a ball in there to Fuentes, and it's just a long punt into the corner. Give him something to chase, but he skips past the challenge of Decimard pretty easily. And it's a good finish from the right-hand side, back across the keeper. Of course, he opens his account against us. That's the way it goes as soon as we hit record. We're through 80 minutes. We're going to hit pause. We're going to take off of Decimard. He's not done well for that goal conceded. Bring on Jamie Warburton just for the last couple of minutes, and we might let Esteban move to the covering defender. I'm going to say we've got faith in him, and then we are also going to use a demand more shout with a few minutes remaining in the half. Carlos Andre, ball into Santana. It's a long one forward. Esteban's header's poor. Vicente's going to get another bite at the cherry here. Wide right area, similar to where he scored from. He has got a man in the middle though, tries to get a cross in. Dodic to Fuentes, and they've managed to sneak one in there near post as well. This is going to set up a grandstand finish for us in the last few minutes. Maybe positive is inviting too much pressure at this point. Let's switch to attacking. Vicente with a good run down the right after doing nothing prior to scoring. Dodic with the ball in, and Fuentes' ball, Mancini should have done better. He somehow morphs through the goalpost there, just pushing it into the top corner like he's spiking a volleyball or something like that. Not great stuff. And they've got a corner here. Ogbu to take. It's a weird technique that he's gone with. Esteban does scramble the ball away after Mancini's save. We're going to use a demand more shout here with about 5 minutes of additional time to be added on. And one last highlight here as we enter injury time. Esteban with the ball out to Carlos Andre. We're back on attacking now, so you'd expect a few players to start flying forward. We lose possession in midfield. Nizovic now, all the way back to Bruno. He hasn't got a lot of angle to work with, but we let them off the hook, balled into the midfield. Santana does well to win it back for us. Esteban sends it out left now to Mateo. He's on a hat-trick if he can pull out some magic here. Cut back to Henri, edge of the area. It's a wonderful strike from Arno Henri. First goal of the season for him. Mateo's had an excellent game filling in on that left-hand side. 2 goals and now an assist to his name as well. When check this one out 3 dimension, that should kill the Tide dead. They shouldn't surely, in 4 minutes of additional time, have another 2 goals in them. Good strike there from Henri. Bruno does get a hand to it, but can only force it further into the top corner. And in Europe so far, in the Super Cup and now in the group stage as well, we've conceded quite a few goals, which is not the worst thing in the world. We are set up to attack. Henri nearly makes it 5 on the night. And as the referee calls full time, 21 shots, 10 on target, 46% possession for Atletico Madrid. 14 shots, 7 on target, 54% possession for the Isle of Man, and 4-2 victors, despite a late scare in the last few minutes there. Passionately, we're going to say that was really special, lads. Nobody gave you a chance and you played magnificently. Everyone's responded fantastically well, which we always love to see. And where does that set us up looking forward to the rest of the week? So the other game, Monaco and Sporting, actually ended 0-0, which I think probably is reflective of how they sit in the group. Mateo gets the Man of the Match award, a 9.1 match rating for his 2 goals and 1 assist. Might give him a bit of praise as well. Passionately will say superb in front of goal last time out, because he was. And thankfully the squad makes it through with very few issues to be concerned about. looking forward in our schedule, what have we got coming up over the next couple of months? So we have done quite a bit of football in the early part of the season. I'm thinking maybe what we'll come back with is at the end of October and do Manchester United at home and Watford away, a trip down to London and Vicarage Road. Watford did, from memory, did they draw with us at the last game of last season? But then Chelsea lost, and that's what kind of snuck us through to the title. I'm just going to check the past meetings here. It's taking a while to load. Yeah, just the one win, which was forever ago, and then a 2-2 draw in the last time we played them. So we can get a little bit of revenge for that. Of course, it was a 92nd minute winner because that's just Football Manager this year. So yeah, it does mean we'll play probably 4 or 5 games off screen for the Premier Division. We'll play our Carabao Cup game. Our reserves will play in that match. We'll have the away trip, the home game against Monaco and the home game against Sporting Lisbon in the Champions League as well, which should hopefully set us up with some good results and performances. And then we'll come back in tomorrow's episode and do the games against Manchester United and Watford to continue our start to the season, season 20, and I think our 6th season in the Premier Division. Does that sound about right? I can't remember. I'll check in a minute. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That is the part that I appreciate the most. If you want to help, support the channel that little bit as we work towards Football Manager 2021, you can drop a like on this video. You can subscribe to the channel, of course, to be kept up to date on all of our videos as they continue to release right up until November, 21st, 24th, something like that. I think it was 24th, and I'm expecting the beta around November 10. We'll see how that goes. We are also going to have some really good announcement videos for saves what we're going to do in FM21. If you've got feedback, things that you want to see in FM21 on the channel, by all means, drop that in the comment section below. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.